Oh, hey everybody, how you doing? We're at Bally's, and this is it's been a tough trip. Hold on a second. I want to first of all, I'm going to share this out and make sure I'm doing this the right way. One moment, please. Put this out there. Just gonna hit next and then share. Um, yeah, I'm pretty tired. My eyes look like they're red there. I kind of alluded to what happened, but um, I'm just going to talk about it more. It just, it's just tough because my mom's in Valley Memorial Hospital. She's recovering from pneumonia, and mom and my late stepfather have gambled here for something like 30 years. And I remember the day we came, it was just a nightmare day to get out. It was like we had two flight cancellations and went back and really thought about just not coming. And maybe I should have just said, let's not go. But we both wanted to come. I had been credentialed to cover the NFL draft for the 18th time, the 16th time in person. And it's Las Vegas. My mother loves Las Vegas. She loves Bally's. The great memories here of her for her and my late stepdad. Um, but I think what happened was that we've been indoors for 2 years basically, and mom at 87, is used to a warmer interior. The hotels here are like 90, 80, 65 degrees hotel rooms, and she was saying she's cold, and then mucus developed, and then I think what made it worse was going down repeatedly to play, slots and gamble, even though we were wearing masks for the most part. But it's a smoke-filled room, and it wasn't like that all the time. But last week Tuesday, in particular, there were a lot of people, and it was like chimney season. Um, and I really believe that's what turned it for my mother, 'cause she's not used to that, and I wasn't either. Um, and but I'm younger, right? Um, so Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, it was clear I had to call I called the hotel EMT here, who's at Bally's, is just fantastic, really is, and he said, your mom is retaining like 82% of her oxygen, and we got to get her to the hospital. So we did that, and um, without going into too much detail, they're giving her the best going over mom has had in I ever that I've experienced. Um, Valley Memorial Hospital is really staffed with some great people who care. And even though they're overwhelmed, it's a 405 bed hospital. Um, it's a major hospital here in Las Vegas. And Valley Memorial is really a place that has really taken care of my mom. We got to get her some oxygen. I just want all that fluid to come out of her, because what happens is the fluid builds up. If anybody has any ideas for remedies, I'd like to hear them. Um, I mean, that said, the doctors are really giving her great help, but things like just practices to build up oxygen intake and then reduce the phlegm. And the good news is that it's coming out for the most part. She's talking better. The poor thing is just tired, and she really is ready to go home. And I really believe that once we get home, she'll feel better. But I've got to make some changes in my life. I've already made a lot of, I made changes to begin with being here. And, it may be just where I just have to say, forget the two coastal thing and just be in Georgia for her and just focus on, on life and, um, making sure she's comfortable and happy, because she'll be 88 this year. And Friday scared the crap out of me. Friday was the worst day of my life when I thought I was going to lose my mom. It turned from the worst day of my life to the best day of my life when I realized I wasn't. But then, she says, God, I don't feel good. It's the breathing, it's getting that stuff out. The good news is she's not hoarse like she was. Her chest doesn't hurt. Um, her she gets cranky once in a while, which means she's feeling better. But I don't want her using a lot of her energy. She's getting rest and sleep, but it's I want them to give. They have her on a fluid limit, which is and they know this best stuff better than I do, um, by a lot. But I just want my mom to feel better and get back to normal. But arguably, we I can't say too much. Mom, we've really done a great job of changing our diet to fit us as we age. Um, but she's all I've got, and I've said that again and again and again, and I'm candid about that. You grow up and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to get married and have kids before 30, or I'm going to get my PhD before 30, and that doesn't happen. Um, you have all these plans. I did, and for this reason or that, the plans never hit, or for this reason or that lady that I thought would be my wife didn't turn out to be my wife, right? Um, so I always had this dream of blessing my mom and, having that standard family that has, like my other friends, they have kids, and in some cases, their kids have grandkids for them. That didn't happen. Everyone says it's not too late. And maybe this is the spark that makes that aspect of life take off. But I think every time I've tried to apply in the past for things I wanted, I never got it. And I thought, I'm going to get it another way. I'll start my own business and do this or do that. Um, you know, I've, um, and that's certainly been the case here. So, but I think the one thing I've got to do is just go back to vlogging, before I started traveling the vlog, and but also emphasize doing something else. Um, that obviously is going to lead to something on the web in terms of it may lead to a kind of a redirection of Zenny 62 Media a little bit. Not too much, because look, OaklandNewsNowBlog.com is a great news aggregator based on YouTube videos. But I think what I learned being at the draft and meeting people there, even though it was my 16th draft in person, is you have people now who, the media is not their full-time job, all right? And they're doing other things. Like there's this guy, Cliff Robertson, who led the charge to get Cliff Branch into the Hall of Fame, rest in peace. And, he's also a lawyer, okay? He's got a podcast, right? And, but they're doing other things. There's a bunch of people who are actually lawyers out here who are out here as media, which is different, that just shows you how things have changed. But it also showed me how I need to think about changing what I'm doing, to be there and better for my mother. But, I keep throwing a guilt thing, like maybe we shouldn't have come, but we both wanted to be here. We both wanted to be here. Um, and, but I have to say, hey Eric, how you doing? I have to say that, and this goes back to Valley Memorial, and I cannot say enough for Valley. I can't enough, Bally's too. Bally's has been just fantastic. The whole staff here, Francis, Bridget, Maya, Tintum, those are the front desk people. Um, they have been, Allie is another front desk guy who actually, uh, I've seen, I sort of know the best, I say, because I've seen him most. But this time they all came through. Not that they've never come through before, but they did. And Bally's may not be the most swanky place, but there's a lot of history here. This was the old MGM Grand, but I I just can't say enough for how great everybody at Bally's has been in Las Vegas. Out here. Um, it's too bad Libby gave. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thumbs ups are appreciated. Okay, uh, it's great that Oakland Mayor Libby Schaff made my god sister, my friend. I don't know if we're still friends, but she hasn't tried to reach out to me, and her parents do. Her parents have. Her parents call me all the time. Her parents. I started off being friends with her parents, really before her, and that friendship has been solid. Okay, um, but Libby made a crack about Las Vegas that people are still talking about here, about how it's dirty. Well, look, it's not dirty. I think it happens to be quite beautiful. Oh, thumbs up, please. I appreciate a thumbs up. That would be great. Uh, but um, Libby, Libby really made a mistake there. There's nothing wrong with this place, and the people here are great. Uh, sure, it's got problems because of the pandemic. So does Oakland. Uh, so does the United States. We haven't gotten it together to really rebuild our infrastructure. Eric says, I'm doing good and happy the Warriors won tonight. One more win to move on. And I went to Oakland last night to see Paul McCartney in concert. Hey, how was McCartney? Nice. Paul McCartney in concert. That's the way, Eric. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Hey, Eric, thank you. Um, uh, how was McCartney, by the way? Did Paul McCartney sing Live and Let Die? Hey, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, please. It would be cool. Did Paul McCartney sing Live and Let Die? I just want to know if Paul McCartney sang Live and Let Die. That's all I want to know. But back to my mom. My mom is a wonderful person, and if I can be half the person in life my mother has been, I'm okay. And I think I don't know why the Lord has put us through this. I keep rolling that around in my head. Like, what's the lesson of this? And I just don't know the answer. And maybe someone else out there, you know, oh, Paul McCartney did sing "Live and Let Die." Oh, I love that song. I'm a Bond fan. But if anybody out there listening to this has an answer, I know the Lord puts us through trials and tribulations, but I guess the question is, what did I learn from this? You know what I learned? I learned that I could be there for my mom again in a different way, in a way that I feared I couldn't. All right. Um, and that's what I learned. I learned that I can make decisions that maybe she didn't want me to do, but she later was happy that I did. And in this case, that's what happened. I just because neither one of us wanted. We saw that we're going to be here in a hospital. She is rather, and she didn't want to do it, and I didn't either. But you know what? I had to just that was the one thing that was gonna save her, and so we had to just go for that. And now it's making sure she has oxygen. Okay. Eric says he's full. Cool. Hey, Eric, you ever have a situation like this with your folks? With your mom or dad, and they get really sick on a trip, and you don't anticipate it, and you don't know. You do what you're supposed to do at the moment, and that's what I did. I did what I was supposed to do, and I'm doing what I was supposed to do. I'm headed back tomorrow, okay? But again, this would be hard. This would be harder to deal with. Let me repeat again. This would be harder to deal with if the Bally staff were not great. Bally staff has been fantastic. Okay? The Bally staff, I don't know how many times I have to say it, has been fantastic. And again, I'll name names. I'll name Francis, Bridget, Maya, Tintum, and Allie. Those are that's probably about 2/3 of the front desk staff. All right? Just great people. All right? Just great, great, great people. Um, so, you know, I look forward to the day that we're on a plane. I look forward to the day we're at home, you know, hopefully by the end of this week. Um, and I look forward to the day we're at home and mom is comfortable and she can sit in front of her kitchen table and watch Turner Classic Movies and fall asleep. And we can have some of that great food. And I'm going to have to cook like her because mom is getting older. Um, and he says, surprised the Bally staff is fantastic, seeing the own by. Well, that doesn't matter. My grandma was in the hospital. She got out, but it was eating and drinking. Now she's eating again. Oh, my mom doesn't drink alcohol. I don't, let me say this about what some places owned by. Um, if you're in a hotel, the last thing that you're concerned about is who owns them. What you're concerned about is how they treat you. And I have to say, again, uh, this place has really taken care of us uh, in a ton of ways. And they made this stay very easy for me in particular and my mother. And they've eased a lot of pain on us because we didn't anticipate this. Um, Corporate structures are what they are. You have organizations that are going to be owned by other organizations that maybe people don't like for whatever reason. But that's got nothing to do with how they treat you. Okay? If they treat you fine, you have to tell the truth. And that's what I'm doing. All right? That's just the way that it is. All right? That's just the way it is. I mean, Bally's is a family hotel, and I can't say enough. Like, for example, I wish maybe Eric says she was not eating or drinking water or anything like that, but she is now. Oh, okay. No, my mom has not. My mom's ate. Um, she gets tired a lot. I think the main concern was just here, was making sure that the 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 fluids come out of her lungs, and they are. She doesn't have. I think there's a term, something edema. She doesn't have that, thank God. The doctor told me that today. Um, she just has the standard symptoms of pneumonia in terms of, you know, buildup, right? And all that. And she's getting rid of it. But my mom is 87 years old. And she needs, as my friend said a few days ago, she's not a spring chicken, you know? Um, and so Alex says, I have a Bally's casino in my state. They seem to be pretty good with business and revenue. I don't know. Again, that's neither here nor there for me right now. I care about how these folks have treated me and my mother. All that other stuff, whatever. And when you're in a position like that, Alec, I'm telling you, your mother and father should matter first. Nothing else. Eric says, I know how you feel. I was thinking she was going to die, but she didn't. Yeah. Well, I told my mother she wasn't going to die. And I had to write out that belief. I was scared. I will tell you, I was scared because there's nothing worse than seeing your parent looking at you in fear and just with a look that says, help me. And it comes from a person who's helped you all their life. You know what I mean? It comes from a person who's helped you all their life. And my mother has been incredible to me. She got a job at United Airlines. She showed me the world at a very young age. She showed me a world that I would never have seen if I grew up with a parent that didn't work with for United. My mother was one of the first generation of black reservation sales agents for United Airlines and part of the jet set, right? And we met Bill Cosby on a flight, okay? And Eric says, yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, we met Bill Cosby on a flight in 1973. And the stewardesses were sitting on this dude's lap, okay? The stewardesses were sitting on Bill Cosby's lap. And so my mother takes a look at what's happened in Cosby now. And then she looks at how, stewardesses are throwing themselves at him and on his lap and all that. And, and so do I, because I remember that vividly. And it's different. I mean, his ego was gigantic. He was enjoying himself. He was the life of the party on the plane in first class. We were not in first class. But you could see him, okay? And you could see the stewardess on his lap. Anyway, my mother took me to Paris when I was 14. We went to the World Trade Center. We went to Windows on the World in 1976. Oh, hey, a thumbs up, please, would be cool if you could do that. Thank you. We did so much. We've done so much. And I can't imagine life without my mother, okay? I don't want to. I'm not ready for that. Say what you will. But, it was hard enough losing my father the way that I did, even though we were not as close as I would have liked. But I remember I had a dream that he died. And I remember when the dream happened. It happened on it happened on Valentine's Day, January 14th of 2005. And I said, I'm going to find my dad. And I did, and I found him in the space of a day. He was at a nursing home. He had an accident at Walmart where he fell, okay? And the Walmart people were kind of mum about they're not kind of, they were mum. Officially met my half-sisters, my half-sister Amanda in particular. And then Barry Lee says, hey, it's Barry, hope your mom is okay. She is, Barry. And so, hey, Alec, I don't know what you're talking about. Your comments are not appropriate to this topic, so I would just prefer that you go, okay? Or I could just, all right? Because it's insensitive. And my thought basically is if you don't understand, you should work to understand what other people are going through and stop focusing on singly your ideas, all right? Or your point of view. This is not for that, okay? It just isn't. And I'm not gonna. That's the one thing. Someone said I was too nice. Well, you know what? I like being nice. That's the other thing I've discovered this trip. After all these years and decades, I like making people happy. I like people who like to make other people happy. I don't like people who go out of their way to be mean to other people. It's wrong. It's not just that it's wrong. It's just this icky feeling. You want to communicate each other this icky feeling, right? This trip has been full of beautiful people. I can give a big rat's butt about corporations, and I own I own 68% of a corporation, a tiny startup called Zenny 62 Media. Bang, all right? Big deal. People and how we treat each other. And thanking God, praying, respecting the word of the Lord. That matters. And that trip, I've gotten that from people I just met again and again and again who believe in God. There's nothing wrong with believing in God either. There's nothing wrong with believing in the Lord Jesus Christ. It's fun. I don't mean to get preachy here. I'm just saying these are things that are coming in my head after what we've went through. Okay? Barry says, yeah, life is too short. It really is. And that's the other thing, Barry. It's, I think the one thing that's got me is all the people that I know who passed on, like my buddy Ernie Orozco, who was a Howard Cosell impersonator who died last week. Wow. Long battle with lung cancer. Ernie is another guy I can't imagine dead. And Alex says, life's too short to live it up to. Alec, that's right. Alec recovers. Thank you, Alec. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Um, it really is. And again, this trip was full of seeing people, as I think about it, like when my hip was hurting and I was over there at the draft town and the police helped me get to where I had to go. And um, this young lady got the wheelchair and was only too happy to push me where I went needed to go. Um, Kent State student, just graduated, sports management, okay, in the right place. Pushed me all the way. Barry Lee says, I know firsthand since I had a pacemaker in the back of in my back. I remember that. And you're recovered, right? This is it's always important to be there for people. Just that kind word. But I look at my mom as she's sleeping and I just love my mom so much. I really do. And I just hope I can just give her an even better life than she gave me. And I've tried to do that. I've tried to help with that. And as I talk this out in my head, I believe that's what I'm supposed to do, you know? So I think I'll stop this one and then I'll come back and talk about Mark Davis and Dan Ventrelli. Barry Lee says, not really, since they have had 2 heart attacks. You've had 2 heart attacks? Oh, my Lord, Barry. Barry, man, you have been through so much. Talk about somebody who's been through so much. It's Barry Lee. Barry Lee. Barry, you the man. Hey, I'm going to close this one out. I'm going to come back in just a few seconds. I'm going to talk about Mark Davis. All right, subscribe to Zenny62. Thank you for the likes and bookmark okanewsnow.com.